You're tuning into Black and White Sports on YouTube. The no-holds-barred truth on sports. The main event starts.
All right, Black and White Sports supporters. Well, I told you this was coming. The chaos is coming to college football. And I guess in some aspects, the NFL can be affected because there's a great point that's raised by, I assume this is going to be Mike Florio. Yes, it is Florio. We've already seen this happen. Cole Hutson has been in Cowboys camp and Browns camp. He's returning back to the University of Texas to play football after having already been in a camp. All right, 2 camps. Now, we're getting word that colleges, NC2A colleges, are preparing to jump all over cut NFL players. Now, you would expect this to be college players that came out this year and that did not make a team. And there's a very good point raised by Florio. You're going to have players that have the opportunity to possibly go to a practice squad in the National Football League that may go back to college because they can earn more money. This is Cole Hutson right here. And this is what is coming. I've told you guys. I started banging this drum when Shedeur Sanders was falling in the draft. That there was a chance. I was like, could Shedeur turn around and go back to school? Because the rules that prohibit that are going to get smashed in a courtroom. Plain and simple. There was heavy rumors that Quinn Ewers was offered a contract, a deal from North Carolina by Bill Belichick as he was dropping in the draft or right before the draft. He had already declared, my understanding, but that because he dropped so far, would Quinn Ewers opt to go back to school? Because supposedly it was somewhere in the neighborhood of like $5 to $7 million. There was also speculation coming into this draft that there was a chance that Ty Simpson might decide to undeclare, which nobody's ever really declared and then undeclared, and go back to college because there was rumors of at least $5 million on the table from multiple college teams. By the way, some bitch looked real good yesterday. I think he was 21 of 25 with 2 touchdowns. Yeah. By the way, I brought this up. This could end up going down as one of the sneakiest college drafts that we've seen in a long time. Garrett Nussmeier looks like he can play too. It's going to be interesting to see how all this unfolds. But here we go. Here we go. The constant chaos in college football has created all sorts of questions. The most pressing current donut hole relates to the 5-year rule and the question of whether players who have graduated high school in 2022 will get one more season of eligibility. There's still no clarity as to how the recent injunction issued by a court in Colorado will apply. Judge Charlotte Sweeney initially opened the floodgates before explaining that the ruling doesn't throw the transfer portal open for players who have another season to go wherever they want. Still, other cases have been filed and that are in the works could result in a different outcome. The NC2A is holding firm. For some of the member schools, however, there are cracks in the wall. Or maybe they're being opportunistic. You see this headline. Some colleges are planning to pounce on rookies who are cut. Regardless, some programs have been reaching out to agents with a specific pitch First-year players who get cut and who are looking at a year on the practice squad at best should consider returning to college for another season. The possibility raises many questions for everyone. Will the school have roster spots? Will a player have to surrender any money he made before returning to school? In other words, back to the NFL team. I don't know. That's a great question. For the player, the most obvious question would be the amount he could earn in another year of college versus the money he would make on a practice squad, with the possibility of performing well enough to be signed to an active roster, which could entail earning an accrued season. All of the long-term benefits that go along with it. It will be, as one team executive observed, quote, a dangerous game for players. Still, the fact that they have the ability to make business decisions, dangerous or otherwise, represents progress that would have been inconceivable only 5 years ago. For the schools, it's another way to get better, whatever it takes. Wherever the good players can be found, even if it means promising a retired jersey with no intention of living up to the commitment. That is crazy. But we're here. I've said, I think it's coming. I've said, I think what we're going to see is players that get that are in the draft. Like picture the draft is going on. Oh, Adam Schefter, Ian Rappaport, all these insiders. I just got the scoop that Alabama linebacker, insert name here, has opted to go back to college now that he's fallen past the second round. I think that's what you're going to see is guys that, because again, they get these evaluations. Should I come out or should I not? And go in the draft. They go before a group of people. They give them a first, second grade, or a go back to school. Well, if the agents and the teams are all blowing smoke and you get a guy that starts dropping, a la Quinn Ewers, a la Shadur Sanders, etc., you're going to see guys eventually. And it's going to become draft day stories, big ones. Oh, so-and-so is pulling himself out of the draft and returning to school. I believe that's coming. And all it's going to take is a lawsuit. Or 2, or 3, or 4. And then for the NFL, yeah, the NFL's not going to like that. But if so many players start doing it, what are they going to do? Blackball the player? The player all of a sudden becomes, he goes back to school, a quarterback, becomes the third best quarterback coming out in the draft, a first round guy after another year in. You think NFL teams are not going to still draft that guy? Of course they are. In fact, they went back to school to get more experience. Yeah, as of right now, he's a 5th round guy. Shit, he went back to school and threw 30 touchdowns and led Indiana to a playoff. I'm just using that as an example. This is pretty wild. It truly is. But it's been in the works. It's been coming. This is going to cause crazy-ass chaos. But for the NFL, because the draft is a television show, and that's just the way they look at it, the higher-ups, I'm talking about Goodell, the league office, all of that. Oh, you mean we can have the drama of an NFL insider cutting in and saying the NFL offices have just received paperwork that so-and-so prospect is going, especially when it ends up being a quarterback or two, is going back to college. And they can even probably announce what college they're going back to. And they were talking about creating a spot. Forget about it. Colleges will figure that out. I don't think Texas knew exactly what the hell they were going to do with Cole Hutson. but he was a good enough lineman to be in NFL camp, so you can bet your ass Steve Sarkisian found a spot for that dude. He's back at Texas right now. Here we are. That's wild. If players are cut, they may choose to not go to the practice squad, not go to the UFL, not go to the CFL, but go back to college. And monetarily, it will make a lot of sense for the players. It is about to be the Wild West. And look, this is all provided they got eligibility left, folks. I think that goes without saying. If they don't have eligibility left, of course they can't go back. But if they do, uh-oh. Tell me what you think. Peace. I'm out. Till next time.
Thanks for watching the show. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Be sure to tune in next time on Black and White Sports.